Welcome to Trivia Viral. Our channel covers all the latest analysis and recaps on TV shows and movies, as well as interesting stories and facts that you may not have known. So sit back, relax, and subscribe to our channel if you have been enjoying our videos so far. Started in the 1930s in the city of Jerusalem, at the Wailing Wall, famed Belgian detective is sent to investigate a theft that has taken place at a religious place. The Belgian detective attempted to catch a man responsible for the robbery of relics that were stolen while three men were having a meeting. The robbery was committed while the three men were being monitored by the chief of police. The Belgian detective believes a small crack in the side of the building is the perpetrator. He thinks it is the chief of police who stole the relic. After the culprit is caught, he is eager to enjoy his upcoming vacation and take a break from conducting investigations. He caught a ferry from the city of Istanbul, and there is a doctor on board. When the detective reaches Istanbul, he meets his old friend, who was the chief of police at the time. Suddenly, a telegram has come in through London. A case demands his immediate attention. The Belgian detective is disappointed that he is not able to enjoy his much-awaited break. But his old friend is very generous and gives him a lift to France by the Orient Express. It will take 3 full days to travel to France, and he is happy to spend as much time as possible relaxing. His friend is very shocked to find out that the tickets for all passengers have already sold to them. But one of them has not arrived on time, and so his ticket is cancelled. The Belgian detective gets through the first night and day. The next evening, an American man asks him to act as his bodyguard for the remainder of the journey since he has been receiving threatening letters. The American man immediately offended him, who declines on the grounds that he hunts down criminals and won't assist them. The American man offering him increasingly large sums of cash and threatened him with a gun. This video is sponsored by QD. QD is Asia's largest platform for students, tutors, and coaches to find and book lessons online or offline, all from a single platform. Sign up at QD today. He was hoping to get a good night's sleep that night, but it was difficult to do so. First, there seemed to be a noise coming from the compartment next to his. A bell and a tap both wake him awake. And it is during these interruptions that he sees a figure running down the corridor in a red kimono. Avalanches occur in the background, stopping the train in its tracks and trapping everyone on the track. All people involved will have to wait until a rescue crew is dispatched because the express was scheduled to arrive at their next station the following day. He finds out in the morning that the American man was stabbed repeatedly to death in his bed over the previous night. He initially declines when his friend asks him to investigate the situation because, after all, he was meant to be on vacation. He is urged to check into the murder by his friend. A frustrated Belgian detective agrees when faced with this. He understands that any of the other passengers or the conductor could be the murderer after making sure that no one left or entered the compartment during the night or is on the train who shouldn't be there. Since his companion was sound asleep in another carriage, his friend couldn't be the murderer. He uses his friend as his assistant. The American man was stabbed 12 times, according to an examination of the body, but the wounds are not all equally severe. Some are certainly lethal, while others are shallow. This suggests that the killer was drunk. But the American man was well built, armed, and previously apprehensive, so it's highly doubtful that he was overpowered. They look through his room and discover the threatening letters, and a partially destroyed message linking the American man to the little girl case. He remembers the tragedy of the young girl who was abducted, and her mother went into preterm labor, killing both her and the unborn child, despite the family paying the ransom. He and his friend quickly learned from the evidence that the American man was the murderer of the young girl. Whomever killed him probably had a connection to that case. When a rescue team shows up, they begin to freeing the Orient Express from the snow. Speaking with the American man's secretary, he and his friend learned that the secretary had been stealing money from the American man's accounts, which gave him a reason for the murder. They also discover a connection to the case of the little girl. The secretary's father tried to prosecute against the little girl's nursemaid, which led to her death by suicide. When the truth came out, his career was destroyed. The Belgian detective discovers that many of the passengers had a connection to the young child as his interviews and investigations continue. The young doctor tries to kill him but misses, and then flees while interrogating the governess of the little girl about the murder. He insists that all the suspects be gathered. He realizes that the young doctor had no intention of killing him. He says there are 2 potential explanations for the murder, and the first is straightforward but improbable. The American man was killed by one of the numerous enemies he had acquired over the years, who boarded the train and then left after the murder. The second explanation, that everyone on board was involved in the murder, is insane but better matches the evidence. The train continues on its journey. The Belgian detective comes to the conclusion that there can be no justice in this case because the American man's conduct has already caused serious harm to everyone on board, and because the American man was a horrible person who committed murder and deserved to be punished. His first idea, that the murderer was an enemy of the American guy who had escaped, is true. He tells the police when the train arrives at the station. The passengers carry on their journey while the cops accept his explanation. The Belgian detective decides to disembark the train at this point, eager to finally get some rest, and he is approached by a messenger as he is needed in Egypt. Even though he is exhausted, he decides to take the case after pausing briefly to see the Orient Express travel off into the distance.
What are your thoughts about the story? Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe if you would like to see more similar videos, and give us a thumbs up to get more recommendations of our videos. Be the first to watch the latest videos by clicking the bell icon. See you on the next video.